Hello, everybody, and welcome to Ep.2 of Talk2Me. We still working on the title, but today we are talking to DJ Genesis. So, DJ Genesis, talk to me. Introduce yourself to the people.
I am DJ Genesis Detroit. I am from originally Detroit, but I was born in New Jersey. And welcome, thank you for having me.
I didn't know you were from New Jersey.
I was born in New Jersey, Orange, New
Oh,
Jersey.
wow.
Yep.
So, do you claim Jersey or do you claim Detroit?
I claim Detroit because Detroit had the biggest impact in my life. New Jersey, I like to forget some of the things that happened, and growing up in New Jersey. So,
Ooh.
just
Okay.
like Bagwell Wright claims Philly, I claim New Jersey.
Right. And technically, she's from Jersey, huh?
Right. I think everybody wants to claim something other than Jersey. Everybody like, no, I don't come from Jersey. No, Jersey is something else. But shouts out to Jersey. There's some very prolific people that come from Jersey. Shouts out to Redman, Naughty by Nature, Queen Latifah,
Right.
and the whole
Right.
Jersey crew. Shouts out to all the Flavor Unit. Yep.
Mhm.
They're from all like the same area. They're from that same area.
How did Detroit shape you?
Well, music wise, and being a DJ, when I joined the military, I was stationed in DC, and I really got into like the techno music scene, and I actually ended up when I was in the military, I was stationed at Bowling Air Force Base in Washington DC, and I ended up moving to Detroit, and I really got entrenched in the techno scene, and that's like where I would say my extended family is. So.
Okay. You know what? I never asked you, but it's so crazy because like now EDM and stuff like that is so big. And then Beyonce had a Renaissance album which was inspired by house music. Like, are you a fan of house music as well?
Yes, actually, I started off DJing a little bit of house, like drum and bass. I pretty much DJ everything. I like music. Period. I'm a musician. I play 5 different instruments.
Yes.
So
And
I like music in
I
general.
remember one day you played me one of your songs before. It was like you wrote it for Africa when you were in South Africa, I believe. Yeah, that was a dope song. I was like, oh, you got to put that song out. Like, it's really dope. Like, sometimes I feel like we don't realize our own talents, and you are very talented. I want to let you know that, Genesis.
Wow, thank you so much. Thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah. I know it seemed like At2 is self-centered and he doesn't care about anyone else, but no, I do care. I do care about other people, believe it or not.
I wouldn't say that. I wouldn't
Yeah,
say
but enough about me. Let me ask you a couple of questions also. So I've been asking everybody because it is Juneteenth is coming up soon, and this will be released before Juneteenth. So what
my
are your
birthday
thoughts
is June
on
20th.
Oh, really? Oh,
Yeah,
wow.
my birthday is right after Juneteenth, and the next day is the summer solstice. So I got a special birthday.
Wow, that's awesome. So, are you for reparations?
I mean, hey, if they're gonna give us some money, I'm for it. I mean, hey, I'm for anything with some money, where someone gonna give me some money. But as far as me like thinking you guys owe me, no, I'm not over here doing that. You know what I'm saying?
Oh,
But
okay,
hey,
yeah,
if they
because
gonna
I
give me
see
some
some
money,
hesitation.
if they gonna give me some money, I'm gonna take it. I'm not gonna be like, I'm not for this. Don't send me any money. Like, what happens to the people that like wasn't for what? Okay, well, all y'all don't get no reparations. What if they
Right,
say,
I feel like I should get their check.
we got a
If they don't
list,
want
and
it,
whoever
I'll
said
take
they
it.
wasn't down with it ain't getting no money. And now what? Now you're gonna be like, no, don't send me the money too. So I'm for anything, anybody giving me some money. Well, not
Right.
anything, because I'll be end up doing some Diddy stuff. No, not anything, not anything, but anything that
Right. I won't do
legally.
anything. I'll do most things, but I won't do anything,
I would do anything for money, but I won't do that. I would do anything for money, but I won't do that.
Right. Well, Genesis, how has it been, you kind of getting into the whole conscious Pan African red pill, blue pill, black pill Like you be like all over the place. Like how is it going into those different sectors?
Well, you know, I'm a Gemini, so the half the time I can't make up my mind what I want to do anyway. You know what I'm saying? So
That's why. Ding ding ding.
I
It makes
can't make
sense.
up my mind.
I understand.
So it's perfect for me because hey, I got all the different people in my mind. It got so many different interests. So 1 minute I'm, what I'm saying, conscious. Next minute I'm on the hip hop scene. Hey, I'm doing a show right now here. Oh, I'm sorry. Can we take a? I'm sorry.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Hey, did you? I mean, I got a lot of different interests. 1 minute I'm the hip hop. The next minute I'm a raver, techno raver. Next minute I'm like a hippie. Next minute I'm conscious community. Next minute I'm ghetto. It doesn't matter. Like I just have different sides to me, and all of them. They say Gemini's got two personalities. Add about 24 more to that. So.
Oh wow!
I can go into any situation. I can go into any and fit in. Put it like that. If I can go to a gothic club and fit in. I can go to any kind of place you can put me in. I will find a way to like fit into that situation.
Right. And have you always been like that, able to like fit in anywhere?
Yeah. Not like, but back in high school, like the popular kids, I wasn't one of those. You know what I'm saying? I couldn't fit into the popular crowd. I was always like a geek, and always like the weird people. That's the band geeks. But but that kind of made me, more versatile. I wasn't like the regular. I think that when you grow up being like a nerdy kind of band geeky kind of person, you don't like have a real regular. And I was in like gifted and talented, so so imagine like being gifted and talented. Those are completely different types of people.
Right. Yeah, believe it or not, I wasn't popular in high school either. Like I didn't become this AT2 until after adulthood, I should say. Yeah. So that's funny. We both have that in common. But I wasn't like in the in band or any kind of extracurricular activity or anything like that. I was just winging it. Let me just say that. And hell, even today, I'm still just winging it.
Right.
My thing is just winging it.
Right. But listen, I was always conscious. Listen, I was always a rebel. In high school, I set up the high school. We was coloring pictures of Martin Luther King in high school. And I said, you know what, this is bull, SHIT. And so I said, you know what, I got parents, I got the students together. I went to the staff, and I said, we need to have some kind of a program for Black History Month. And I started the Pathfinders. After that, they have a thing called the Pathfinders Award at my high school. So I put together a play. Wow. And I rented out a temple. And we at the last year I went to high school, I actually rented out a temple and threw the play there because I was actually having the play in the conference center, and then the teachers would bring their classes, and we would put the play on. It would be different subjects like stop the violence or whatever. But I was president of the junior NAACP, so I already was on some like Black power, power to the people. We need to know this is an injustice. I was already there in high school.
Martin Luther Genesis Jr. Right. Oh my God!
Like black. I'm black, y'all, and I'm black, y'all, and I'm black, y'all. I was already there in high school, and I went to a mostly white school, so.
Okay, I was just going to ask you about that. I went to a mostly white school as well too, but I wanted to more fit in and assimilate. You wanted to more so rebel.
I wanted to like inspire people. I was like the one that if there was something wrong, I want to fix it. If there was, and just like I said, I was in like they had this thing called Odyssey of the Mind where you would they would give you a problem at the beginning of the year. It was called OM, Mind Olympics. Have you ever heard of that in high school?
No, I've never heard of that.
Oh, okay. They would give you a problem, and then you would solve the problem, and then whoever had the best solution would win the thing. It was really geeky stuff. It was real, yeah.
Oh, I can tell because we definitely didn't have that.
So I was like, we used to like sing to "They Might Be Giants," Particle Man. If you ever heard of that song, Particle Man, doing the things a particle can. What's he like? It's not important. Particle Man. Is he a dot or is he a speck? When he's underwater, does he get wet or does the water get him instead? Nobody knows. Particle Man. That's the type of like nerdy, yeah.
No, I've never heard of that, but it will be used in the teaser for this episode. So thank you.
Complete dork. Like, I mean, that was, and we used to be, it was so fun. Like, we'd be like, Particle Man. That's the type of, yeah, that's how I grew up, like, real, but like, so, but when I saw something was going wrong, I always felt like I had to fix it. You know?
Mm.
So I was always the person that tried to fix stuff.
It's funny that you mentioned that because I know when it came to the whole Nature Boy thing, you try to help out the former cult members and stuff like that. Like, do you think that's why you went? Because you felt like you wanted to kind of save them almost? Like,
yeah, no, the whole agreement with that situation was that they were trying to get to Mexico. And he had children, and he had like he was, what was it called? Child support. And he was trying to save up enough money to get back to Mexico because he didn't have his passport when he went over to Mexico, so his passport was blocked, so he couldn't get back over to Mexico. So I was like, well, I'm trying to buy another house. You're trying to get your passport. We can work together, do some business, and then we both help each other out, Mm-hmm. And then that was the arrangement at first, but then things kind of just lasted too long and out went too far and just didn't end up right, so
yeah, because you had a whole therapy rehab center in your second home. Like it was a lot going on. Like I was like, I don't know how she deal with it.
But I have, at some point I did kind of think it was my what I wanted to do was to become a philanthropist. Huh?
You felt like it was your calling.
Yeah, I felt like, I always wanted to be a philanthropist and help people and this, that, the other. And it took me when I got initiated to learn that, no, that's not your calling. You can help people, but they have to give you something in return. You help. Actually, I got told when I got initiated, you've helped enough. That's enough. You don't, from this point on, it is taboo to do anything for anybody without getting something in return. That's what I got told, and I was always under the impression that I grew up Christian background. I'm so used to give without expecting nothing back. Turn the
That's the way I was raised. Like you give back without expecting anything, and then you will get something in return. It doesn't have to be like monetary, but it can be spiritual or whatever, right? But you give to give.
The way I got it, I got my head busted open when I figured out when the actual reality of it is there's this thing in the law. It's called law of reciprocity. And if you are a spiritualist like I am, if you're really into healing and helping people, it could kill you to give too much and don't get anything back because you're giving your energy. So when I came from religion to spirituality and then became a priest, that's a whole other ball game. When you become a priest and you become a healer, it does the laws don't apply the same. And I was trying to bring this over into this, and they don't go together. If I'm going to heal someone, I can't just heal and heal and heal. That's even imagine a doctor if he just sat there and just was a doctor and didn't get paid nothing the whole time.
Yeah.
Or a nurse, and they got didn't get nothing.
Right. You gotta get them out of it.
And look at how hard nurses work, And if they just didn't get paid to do that job, and how wouldn't that end up eventually killing them?
You have a good point.
You know what I'm saying? Because you're just giving and giving and then getting nothing in return. So I had to learn that lesson, you know.
Yeah, I think with the doctor and the nursing that might be different, but I get where you're going. I get where you're going.
Yeah, because but it's the same thing if you have a ministry. If your ministry is to help those that are homeless or in need, it's like, well, you have to either set yourself up to get something like those, like the homeless shelter is not just a free homeless shelter. They are getting something from the government, grants, something to sustain them to be able to continue to help people. If they just sat there and just gave everything away and didn't have nothing, how would they be able to help people? They have to get something in order to be able to offer the help.
So are you saying that people need to give you money in order for you to heal them?
I think that what I would say is that you have to, there has to be some kind of exchange. It doesn't necessarily have to be money, but you have to have some type of exchange for what you're doing. Because if you just give it and then don't expect nothing in return, then and you just keep doing that, you'll end up with nothing.
Right. And how did you make that spiritual transition?
Well, actually, my godmother, who's a shaman, she actually just recently was on 607 Unk. She's the one that was ringing the bells and stuff and doing that sound work on him.
Oh, okay.
That's Chief Yandaya. That's my godmother. Yep.
Oh, wow.
So, and she told me, because she actually went to the top of the Andes Mountains in Peru, and when she initially came back with her shamanhood, she was doing work for free for people, and the shamans in the Andes Mountains told her, no, you can't do that. You have to charge for what you're doing, because that you'll die. You have to get. It's an energy exchange. It's a vibration. You know what I'm saying? I'm giving you something for my energy, because you're already giving them your energy. When you're sitting there doing whatever it is and focusing whatever, that's you putting your energy into them and removing something up off of them. And you just keep doing that. Eventually, what do you have left for yourself?
Okay, and like the money will help like replenish that energy.
It helps to pay your bills, so you can continue to even not worry about why would you up here healing people and it dilapidated, can't even pay you hungry, you still healing, you just shaking them bells. You know what I'm saying? Come on now.
Listen, I am mad at you. I'm not mad at it, but
I'm hungry. Oh Lord, I wish I could get something to eat. Ching, ching, ching. Come on now. No, you gotta thank you for some money. I'm gonna go get something to eat that after I get done working with you and do my next client. Hello.
Hey, you listen. You making sense to me. I can't be mad at you. You making a lot of sense. Yeah. I just wanted to make sure you knew what you were saying. And you know what you're saying. So hey, that ain't
yes. People listen. If people, especially in my faith, where you have people that do like these really elaborate initiations that involve a whole lot of people, and some of those the initiations, like my initiation lasted 9 days, and I would say there was at least 30 people there, and they all got something for their time, So yeah, there is a monetary exchange for that,
Okay.
So,
yeah, I mean,
and see, the only difference is that, but it's not like when you go to church and the pastor say, "And the Lord said, and then tithes," and but then we have the building fund, and oh Lord, and this is the pastor's fund. We're gonna put together this fund for the. It ain't like that. It's like there's a set thing for the initiative you did.
Yeah, and you're not scamming people.
Yeah, exactly.
I totally get it. I understand. Right.
And I'm not to put down Christian, because I still go to church, believe it or not, even though I'm a priest in this faith. Well, actually, I would say science. I'm also still would go to church. I actually was instructed when I got initiated to go to church because to go to church.
Now, is it because spirituality and religion go hand in hand, or?
I think that at some point, people are going to realize that there is a certain level of structure. There's something that both of those things can bring to. I think that religion has a structure. It's great to have that structure. Growing up in the church was a great thing. It kept a lot of people out of trouble. However, sometimes it could be very limiting in allowing a person to really examine the full aspects of the spirit and what it entails. You know what I'm saying? You can be so structured that you don't know anything outside of that, and everything outside of that is the devil, is demonic, it's evil. And so you end up being having blinders on to what really is happening in the world. You know, so
Right. Okay. I like that. I actually do like that because I believe that um there's not necessarily a right or a wrong religion or a way to go about reaching that internal awakening within you. I feel like there's multiple ways of getting there. So I like that you brought that up. Something
I
else that I wanted
want to go to China and go to a Buddhist temple. I want to go to a Hindu temple. I really, I'm so happy that
to.
I kind of like burst past the whole like the limitations of just being like Methodist Christian, in that box. When I was able to break free of that box, it opened up so much more. Now I still could go into a church and pray to Jesus. I prayed all, pray to Buddha, pray to Jesus, pray to Krishna. They all bring something to the table. Uh,
Okay.
Shouts out, pray to Allah, pray to all that. And I like I said, just like I could go into any environment and feel comfortable, I most definitely can.
Yeah, so
And I
you give everybody the praise. Well,
yeah.
has your spiritual journey helped with bullying? Because you and me, we've both experienced bullying online, and I don't like to compare, but you've been through a lot, right? So with that being said, like, has this helped you at all? Because it just seems like sometimes I'm all like, fight back. Like I feel like you get a lot thrown at you, and sometimes you ask for it, but then other times I'll be like, yeah, you didn't have to do all that. Like, why y'all going at her like that? Like, can you speak a little bit about that?
A lot of times, a lot of time that you saw that I wasn't really fighting back. I was normally in my year in white, and I was not allowed to fight. And I'm really not supposed to get angry. Part of like
Mm,
my whole thing is I'm not supposed I'm supposed to avoid getting angry. So, I have to like find a way to like understand the situation deeper than what it is. So I like, okay, if I find myself getting to the point where, because when I do lose my temper, it's like a tornado has hit me.
right,
People are like, what the fuck was that? You know what I'm saying? So I have to kind of try to control myself. Part of like say is good character, Iwapale, gentle character, right? So is to avoid confrontation, because at the end of the day, it really don't fucking matter anyway. Like half the stuff that we argue about, it don't mean nothing. So why am I gonna get upset about it? I'm raising up my blood pressure. You know what I'm saying? And I had
right,
to took me a second to figure that out. Like man, because I would lose. Like I can go to 0 to 100, and I'm in perimenopause too. Please, you know what I'm saying? Hormones, all crap. I'm hot. I'm cold. I don't know what temperature I'm at half the time. And you want to talk some shit to me? Yeah, honey, I will raise it. All kind of whatever. And I'm like,
right,
but am I trying to really? Is this really that important? No. And the biggest person that helped me to figure that out is my 7-year-old daughter.
really? How did she help you with
I
that?
was on the phone one time arguing with somebody, and all I saw was a little finger come up and just hit the button, boop, and hung up the phone on that person. She said, "Mommy, you ain't got to talk to them."
Wow.
It was a little finger. She,
Just boop.
yeah, she was like about 6, so you know how a little baby finger, and she still had the little dimples in her fingers. Like I said,
Oh
"What?"
yeah, yeah.
And then there was a cute little finger. I said, "What? Wait, is that her finger? Just hit the hang up button?" And I was going ham on somebody. Because honey, I can argue with the. I will go. I can listen. I got all. I got all that. Listen, I'm from Detroit and New Jersey. What I don't know
Right,
what anybody thinks, but just because I talk a certain way does not mean I will not get hood and crazy.
right.
So
Has
I
there
gotta control all that. So
Yeah, has there ever been a time where like situation or like bullying got too much for you, or you've been able to handle it?
It did get too much, and I don't want to bring up certain people's names, but sometimes when you have a person, some people just have a entity on them. You know what I'm saying? That's what so I have to
on it.
Some of them really because when a person is just constantly just sitting around just talking about people, and they have make their whole like platform about that, open up other platforms, bring up different sign. Imagine how much energy it takes to sign into something, create a whole page, set your cameras up, you get your mic right, all the sound right, just to sit there and just spit venom on people for like an hour or two, find information on them, try to schedule phone calls. Oh, you know what? That's a lot of negative energy to put out on somebody, just on one person. And these people will do this to several different people all day long. So to me, that is an illness. It's an entity. That is a demon.
Yes, that's a demon inside of them. You ain't lying. Like, they really need to take a chill pill, sit down, and drink them some coffee, right?
Right. Listen, too many people have too much time on their hand. There's so much more you could be. So imagine this person, a person that does this, that's always just talking bad about people, always got something to say about people, setting up different programs just to talk about people, just all day long, just talking bad about people.
And they breath stink too. I heard through the grapevine, but keep going.
So much negativity about this and that, and see, let me just say this: when I was on Bigo, because before I came on YouTube, I was on Bigo. I was a part of
Bigo.
Yeah. The gay community, listen, I'm sorry, and I don't want to be controversial. The gay community has this thing called there's a name for it, where they just say some of the most terrible, but it's like it's almost like you're jonesing on each other, but
they call it reading. Like you read somebody, reading, yeah. And Happy Pride Month.
Happy Pride Month. Bigo. So I think Bigo was a really big, like, a lot. The gay community like really was running that platform. But if you actually would scroll through and see a lot of like the pages, honey, they'd be wishing death on each other and wishing death on their mothers. I mean, saying the most horrible things to each other, and that's toxic.
Right. And so Bigo is just ghetto. I just stay away from that.
But what I realize is that is not just a thing that's only a subset of Bigo. The whole reading thing is just a thing that happens that's like a whole thing. That's a thing within the gay community. And the level of insults that they can say and how they try to destroy a person with words can be so, vicious,
But I think that carried over into YouTube as well too, like where everybody is doing it. Like I've heard people say some of the most grotesque stuff I've ever heard before in my life, and I've even caught myself like saying something. I'll be like, "At2, like you don't talk like that. Why are you saying it?" Like it does something to you, and you're all like, okay, if I'm in this negative space, I need to get out of this negative space,
Yeah. So and let me just say this. I don't want people to think that I'm like talking that negatively about the gay community. What I want to say is, now I know that a lot of like gay people get bullied, right? So they have to be witty, they have to be smart, come back with the, you know what I'm saying? They gotta be able to have good comebacks and be able to break somebody down verbally, so that they can like be able to probably either intimidate or win their arguments before it turns into something physical. So I know that that's where they probably get that from. But
right. I think that's
social media. Yeah, when you bring that to social media, it becomes very vicious. And so that a person takes that outside of like just like on Bigo, there are panels of people reading each other, just saying terrible stuff to each other all day long. And imagine that you take this into an individual, leaves that kind of environment, comes into now you're a talking head, and people are coming to you, looking at you and whatever, and then you're just cutting people down left and right. And some of these people might like imagine if you at one point was like, oh, okay, because you might have been a fan of that person at some point and watched their show. I said, okay, I like their content, right? But then you make the person mad, and now you become the content. And this is the biggest thing, is that the whole thing about content has turned into something that makes people become very inhumane. It's all about the content, and see, and that's how you can tell that people are not true, real journalists, because journalism has rules and laws. So there's lines you can't cross, right? But the content, there is no line. So people are crossing all kind of boundaries, whether it be people's just personal boundaries, doxing people, calling people's jobs, trying to get people's kids taken from them. You got people on TikTok. People will find out who a person is, don't know them, but just saw a video
I
on them.
was going to say, Genesis, that's not like a gay thing. Like, that's just YouTube in general. Like, it's just.
I'm showing a progression. I'm showing a progression. You know what I'm saying? How it's. I mean, I'm not saying it started with the gay community. I'm just saying is that I'm just kind of trying to show a progression of how even with, at least with the black, because I'm not gonna lie, the gay community runs the black content creation media. What about it? I mean, except for Tasha K and but everybody else is of gay males, right?
Wow, you are kind of right about that. Like,
the big content creators that people are, especially women in my age. I'm like about 40, in my late 40s. A lot of them are following black gay male content creators and supporting them. Correct?
Right.
I mean,
and then
this may be a very controversial podcast. I think this is controversial.
Oh yeah. Well, you're controversial anyway.
I have not had one drink today. So
she's sober today, y'all. She's sober. Like, don't try to play her.
This is just. I mean, so hey, this is. It is what it is. People are gonna get mad at what I got to say, but it is what it is.
Yeah, no, and what you're saying is that's not the first time I've heard that. Like, it's been repeated a lot. But do you think that has to do with like maybe women need to support other women or support people who support them?
No, because women do support other women. I do see women supporting female content creators. However, I've started to notice is that the viciousness now is now you got the females being vicious that are even more. And honey, when women get vicious, it goes to a whole nother level. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, because it does seem like even with the women, it goes like times a million. Like, it goes to a whole. You don't want to piss a woman off, right?
I would say this. Now, a lot of the male people, the males, the gay males that are kind of running things when it comes down to the podcast and the when it comes down to that, other than like the hip, but I'm talking about on the kind of the whatever sector, this is that where you have all this kind of thing going on. I don't think that the gay men would dox a person, but I think what's happening is that their audience, being women, will be like reaching out to them, like, "Hey, I found out where so and so live, and da 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 da. Yeah, we can go by there." And so now you get this. So you add, it's caddy over caddy over caddy over caddy, and all this is because they want to feel like some kind of noticed by this content creator.
Like, oh, they noticed me. Yeah,
right. Listen, I helped make that happen. I got that child. I made them that. Helped him get called CPS on her because I saw that type of crazy stuff, and it's sick. And I'm like, bro, so it's a bullying, and I think half of it has to do with people don't got nothing else to do, need to go get some, go get some.
Internally, like in real life, and I've noticed this too. A lot of people come to the internet to escape their real life, and a lot of times these people real lives are horrible. Like, the one person that drinks coffee, quote unquote, they basically are a sex slave, and so they have to have an outlet to talk about people on different platforms and stuff like that. So it makes a lot of sense, you know. But also, too, Genesis, it's not just gay
that's
men.
terrible. I didn't know that. Oh my god.
Yeah,
What?
but it's not just the gay men. It's not just the black women. But also in the Manosphere red pill, it's nasty too. Can you talk about that?
But okay, I don't. Okay, you know what? I have seen them kind of in fight against each other, but they normally get over it. They'll have an argument and then get over it. But
Right.
what happens is that they will start to, if a woman, and I've been over there to and get cussed out with, you know, oh, you fat, this, that, the other. And I think that they do that because they want to seem cool in front of their buds and the men and all that stuff like that. You know,
But
so
they really want to fuck you though. Okay, I get it. Keep going.
listen, they'll say all that BS and whatever. Listen, if come on now, please.
Yeah.
Half these guys out here can't get none. That's why they so mad on Red Pill Manosphere. They not getting no punani. That's why they on the panel screaming. You know what I'm saying? Please give me some. That's what's wrong with these women today. They're not giving it up. We need to set up a thing. They're not giving us no punani. And so now they put a panel and diss women all day. Then for some reason you get a married guy, Anton Daniels. Why is his married ass keep getting on panels talking about single women? I would feel offended.
Where is his wife? That's what I want. Where is his wife?
And he will get onto a panel and cuss somebody out about that whole thing. No, well, not cuss, but just diminish and belittle about these Manosphere talking points. But bro, you're married. Why aren't you traveling the world with your wife?
Yeah, and be all like in 2 and 3 in the morning. Like that is crazy to me,
bro. And to me, you should be doing some blogging about your family. That probably would even get more money.
But you know, something that I paid attention to what you were talking about was the Manosphere. Like, yeah, it is nasty and disgusting, but it's more like a reaction to I'm not getting any, or I'm doing this for clicks and views or for clout. So it seems real.
It started with the Incel movement. It actually started with white men. The Incel white men involuntary celibate movement, and then that Jordan Peterson and that other dude, Andrew Tate, and all that stuff like that, trying to help men get more women. And then somehow trying to help men get more women started making men start talking bad about women. Well, this is what's wrong with these women. And it's like, well, no, you're just weird and nobody wants to fuck you. Sorry.
Right. And it's like, sometimes, do you even like women? Like the way you like talk, like you just be like, listen, like even me for a man, like what I see, it kind of just like entertainment to me. But I can see for a woman how they can look at this and be like, oh, this is disgusting. Like I highly doubt, just like Anton Daniels, like I don't think he talks to his wife that way or he be saying that stuff. I think this is literally, he's a grifter. And I think this is the grift because his new grift is to be pro MAGA. And so what I learned, I'm about to give the secret. You ready?
Mm-hmm.
So you know how like a lot of the Manosphere channels were getting shut down and stuff or demonetized? Well, they found out a go around. Their go around is to mix in the politics with it. That way they're able to still say, you know, their talking points about women need to do this and that, but they'll push it politically. That way it's not coming off like hate speech, which is very smart.
Yeah, I think that's what Myron's doing. He went and became like this big Trumper, and then now he's talking about
he even wears white hoods and call people the N-word, even though he's supposed to be Sudanese. Like, yeah, he's weird. Like, I'm all like, why are you
What's crazy is that I believe that the majority of what Myron is talking about is really about like is Islamic rhetoric. He's really talking about things from an Islamic standpoint. And he's mad because America's not acting like an Islamic country. It's like, you're not in an Islamic country. Go to Sudan and tell them to do that. Don't come over here this is not the Islamic country.
Right. And to tell black people what they need to do and what they can't do and all this other shit. Go back to your country and make it so great. Why are you over here talking about us when you should be over there helping your people?
Go to Saudi Arabia and tell them how to do it. You know what I'm saying? That's where the women are suppressed.
Listen, he won't make it out because they ain't gonna deal with his disrespect. That's the other thing.
I don't would think that he would be disrespectful in Saudi Arabia. He'd be right at home. But the thing is that he wants to he likes the controversy. Because my thing is that why is he at the Diddy trial?
Right. And that's another thing too. Like with a lot of these people, they're just clout chasing.
Thank you. No matter what it is, you know what I'm saying. So it's interesting to see a lot of this like this. And so I believe that the whole Myron Gaines thing was a bullying tactic against Black women because he would always attack the Black women on the show for some reason. And now he's at the Diddy trial for some, I don't know what for. Probably trying to find something else that Black women did wrong when it's not even Black women in this case.
Well, I was going to say that's another example of Black women going on his show. Like, I don't think he gets Black women support, but he'll have Black women on the show. And it's all like, have y'all not seen his show? Like, why would you go on his show?
Probably because he gave him some money. And that's the biggest thing is that people would, just because somebody gave you some money is willing to just completely, just do anything. I mean, that's what this whole case is really about with Diddy is like, man, just what you would do for money. You know what I'm saying? And I would do anything for love. You know what I'm saying? And they getting on Myron's thing just for money, just to look stupid. And then here's another thing. A lot of people I think that people can be kind of, what's it called? Tone deaf. You know, they get on these shows like what's her name? The girl that does the dating thing. And they really are so like Kendra D and Kevin Samuels when he had his show, Pop the Balloon, all these different types of shows for clout. They think that they're going to become famous, you know, and so they'll put themselves out there looking crazy as I don't know what, and become a viral moment looking like a fool. But they don't even realize just how they like just look crazy as heck, and now you're just going to be used for content, and then people are going to start to probably bully that person, get their contact information, dox them, all this other stuff just because they were on that show and looked crazy. You know what I'm saying? So I think it's like the same syndrome as the people that would probably jump on a stage when Michael Jackson was performing. You know, they want to get up there and start pop locking and think that they're gonna become famous. You know, just that kind of mindset, right? So now they call it into these shows and or getting on these shows and making a fool of themselves, and then they think that got some clout. You know what I'm saying? Or arguing with people at the courthouse and and starting to fight in the elevator just to get some, what I'm saying, screaming at somebody that's like this big, huge 6-foot person and hope people get the footage and that now you're famous and stuff like that. That type of stuff.
Oh, right. And that kind of viral stuff only lasts for a moment. That doesn't give you longevity. But hey, that's for them to figure out, Yeah,
it doesn't give you that's not something to be taken serious. You're that's more the Inquirer. It's not USA Today.
Oh,
it's not New York Times. It's the Inquirer. It's the Sun. It's all that In Touch magazine level stuff. It's not New York Times. It's not CNN. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
You might be on CNN, but it's gonna be like this fool just did this, that, and people are over there in. Man, I don't know why I'm getting onto this trial so hard. This is a thing where you take online and you bring it in person. This is all. I think this thing is like a case study.
It does seem to be a case study.
Listen, all these people have been online, and now you put them all in one spot. Let's see how they act.
It's like Big Brother.
Listen, all the regular media, the people that's serious are across the street in tents.
You know what? Yeah, you're right.
Ever thought about that? Why? So why aren't the YouTubers also got their own tent and set up like that? Why? What is it about the content creators that when they enter in with the public? They don't enter into the media. So a lot of times the content creators think that they're the media, when in reality they're just a content creator. They're public, just like anybody else. And so when people who are watching these public people, they begin to to idolize them and forget, you know what I'm saying? And then you get all this bullying that comes along with it because they're trying to get in the good graces of this content creator who's really just the public.
They're really just me and you.
Who just happen to have a camera and a microphone and be able to, and I'm like,
right. Hey, you can do it too. That's
right.
basically the message.
Right. You know what I'm saying? You know. Now when I start making $1 million or $1 million a month off of this, I'm not the public no more. Y'all can kiss my ass. But right now, I'm just like.
Right. Well, Genesis, before we get ready to end the show, I do want to ask you this. If you had one wish, what would that wish be?
You would be my boo. Promise to love you. No, I'm just saying. If I had one wish, I would have $10 million.
Okay, why 10 million?
Because then I'll be able to take that 10 million and do everything I really want to do with that money. That would give me enough money to do everything I would want to do.
You know what? My wish, I don't want to put a number on it. I just want to say an endless amount of wealth.
Yeah, I want to put a number on it so I can have that number because then I could always make more after that.
True.
That's a goal. You gotta set a goal. You gotta put an exact amount on it so that the universe can start to know exactly what to give you and start to work towards making it happen.
Okay.
That's how you manifest.
500 million. Okay, there we go. I'll put a number on it. 500 million.
You gotta now you put that out there, write it down, write it down on a piece of paper and forget about it, right? And then actually the next time then you write, make your brain, you have to make your brain think, okay, if I can't do this, what can happen? There's a whole I can run this whole thing down, manifest techniques. Yeah.
Yeah, manifest.
Write it down, do a vision board, create make your whole screensaver in the background, flash that, and so it makes your mind subconsciously work toward it.
I like that.
That's what we should be talking about rather than this bullying. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying the more content creators need to be on that, how to come out of the matrix, because all this stuff is a distraction. All these trials, all these so and so is arguing. You hear what so and so said? Girl, I called blah blah blah. That's gossip bullshit, and it's leading nowhere. It's a waste of time. People log into this stuff. It's draining because everybody I know that watches that all that after a while be drained as hell.
Yeah, it definitely gets draining. You're right.
They have to stop. They have to take a break because that is so much negative energy. That is a lot of negative energy to sit there, man. Because they're probably getting calls all day long. Man, I heard it. I heard that. I heard, well, girl, you gotta have the same energy of what somebody else heard about this every time you pick up the phone because you don't want to be rude. Of all these people coming and bringing, hey, check this out. You know what I'm saying? Well, check this out. Oh, so and so. I got her address. So here's their court. She went to jail, and here's her picture of her in jail. And at first it's probably exciting, but you do that for years.
Yeah,
that's a lot
draining.
That's why you get sick.
Oh,
nobody has to put a spell on you. Nobody has to put a spell on, even with a certain person that has their own algorithm. You know what I'm saying? Nobody got to do no negative work on that person. That person is the work. You know what I'm saying? The energy that they put out is the work. That's a lot of negative to put out. Talking about somebody and what they got going on. And instead of why aren't you talking about how to help people to do something? People, the reason why people become rich, everything that a person has that I've seen and when they were rich, is because they created something that helps people. Even Donald Trump doing real estate has buildings that people live in that helps them to survive and live. You understand?
Mm-hmm.
Elon Musk, the electric cars help people to drive and not spend gas. Think about the things that people do in life that are really billionaires. What person is making a lot of money off of hurting people?
You're right. I never thought about it like that. You're right. Who is making money off?
Who is a billionaire because they did nothing but hurt everybody?
Wow, that's a good question. I would definitely like to see if people can answer in the chat or the comment section that, because you're right. Who makes money off of hurting? Like, who became a billionaire off of hurting people? No one. No one. Wow. Well,
They all they
billionaires
all
have probably done something dirty to get the billions, but essentially they didn't make their billions off of hurting. Yeah.
what I would say is this: the corporation's job is the fiduciary responsibility of the corporation to do what is best for the corporation. So every person that I've known that are millionaires, they always had the right intentions when they start the business.
Mm-hmm.
Time goes on, and then more interest and people get involved that are nefarious. And when they invest their money, then you become beholden to them, right? Vibe magazine started off as a hip hop magazine. And guess what happens is that more sponsors come in, and then they begin to own you, because hey, if I take a full page ad out of this thing, and you begin to run your company off the money off of my advertisement, then I run your magazine. I can tell you
Right.
what goes in it and what you can put in it or not. What you can take. You can't have that artist that's against our brand, and you're one of your biggest advertisers. You understand? And that's how people can control somebody in that way. And so just to wrap this up, what I'm saying is that most people, when they start these businesses, they have the best in mind. I don't think that people purposely come out. Let me create this so I can destroy the world. In their mind, they think that this is supposed to help people in some way.
Oh wow, that's interesting.
Think about everything. Facebook, they was trying to help the people in the college talk to each other. Uh, uh, PayPal, we're trying to help people to be able to send their money. Cash App, we're trying to help people to be able. The whole internet was trying to be based on helping people, but and then everything, most of the things that billionaires, with people that got money are doing. So the reason why we're losing our thing is we even forgot that sitting around talking bad about people, gossiping with each other, that ain't helping nothing. That's why these people are stuck. It can't get no further because who could use that skill set?
Right, you can't use it for anything. Yeah, and
For
I think the
anything else.
important message is to, lead with love. Like, we need more love in the world. All this hate and, talking bad about people, it only gets you so far. And I think we forget, as human beings, like, other people are human too, not just us. Other people are human, and we got to remember that and make sure what we put out to the world, we're making sure that we're respecting, we're loving each other, and we're showing each other like what we can do and what we can be about. I think a lot of times we don't realize that community is the most important thing, and hopefully we're able to build community. That's more of what I would like to see. So, and
And that's
Genesis,
what I'm
any
about.
last
That's what
words?
I'm about. I'm a software engineer, and I help people. I've had my business since 2004. It's called Inner City Creative Group. I've built websites, and my whole thing was about. If you look at the bio on my website, it was about that there's X amount of like small businesses in Detroit, and my job, I wanted to help people to be able to build their website to be equally as good as any major corporation, right? Excuse me. I want them to be able to have campaigns and look the same, right? And that's when I started my company. And I still have my company since 2004. And I've worked corporate, and I still help out small businesses. So if anybody needs a website, that's what I do for a living. Other than DJing, other than content creation, I'm a software engineer by trade. I can build out any type of web application. Excuse me.
You better let them know. Yeah.
Anything you could think of. I also do AI and all kind of different stuff. So people don't even know that I'm in that. That's what my real trade is as a software engineer.
Right.
They think I'm do taxes and stuff like that, but yeah, I do.
That's what I thought. Yeah, I thought you just did taxes.
So please check out my website, Inner City Creative Group. When I'm not doing software engineering, you can find me at DJ Detroit. And that platform is really about helping people. It's really about diving into spirituality. I've talked to the Moors. I've talked to the Hebrew Israelites. I've talked to the Babalawos. And then I've talked to the lawyers on the Diddy trial. The lawyers that are discussing the Diddy trial. I try to have a place that when you're tired of watching a lot of negativity, that my thing is like an informative place and it's positive, you know. So
Mm-hmm.
I do want to like just say that. So thank you guys so much.
Yes, and thank you for coming on the show. I appreciate you. Like, this podcast is new, so just you willing to do it with me. I really do appreciate that, Genesis. And I'm pretty sure people get to know a different side of you. I think there's a lot of confusion when it comes to you, and so hopefully we were able to clear up some of that confusion. And like I said, like, people don't real like I said in the beginning, like, people don't realize how talented you are, and so just keep doing you and just being you. Like, that's all I can say. Keep doing you
And
and keep doing you.
and people need to stop people taking this online thing so serious.
Mm.
This is supposed to be entertainment. It's not supposed to get to the point where people are really coming into people's real lives and hurting them. Okay, especially because you only know what's in this little box. You don't know anything outside of this box of who I am. You don't know what my room next here over here looks like. You don't know what's in this room. You just know right here. So you can't sit here and then make a judgment because you didn't see something happen in this little box for 5 seconds. We need to stop that. So that's not there you go.
Right, I agree with you. And Genesis, thank you so much for coming on the show. But you guys, this is it for episode 2 of Talk to Me. Today we talked to Genesis. Love y'all. Deuces, everybody. We out.